Papa Pepper. Why my life is so much work right now.
Alright guys, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but this is just going to be a random ramble from Papa Pepper, a little vlog just titled, Why My Life is a Lot More Work Right Now Than It Has to Be. I was out building up one of the pastures earlier, sowing some seed, getting some stuff going on to help. I've got a couple of them already in the works. That one I haven't hit yet, and I talked about the fact that we have three main purposes for our land. The three main purposes are, one, just to have somewhere to live. A lot of times, whether you got an apartment building or a house or, a homestead or some land or whatever it is, you want somewhere to actually physically exist, somewhere to be, somewhere to call home. That's one of them. Now, we're not on our land yet. So I've been down here a while, still not on our land. So that first one is still in the works. And actually in the next maybe week or two, there may be just a ton of work and effort going to get a mobile home that we've got secured down on our land and hooked up and ready to go. We are not exactly sure the entire route of our life right now, whether this is kind of more of the path, just part of the path, or the destination, as far as stuff. But what I'm looking for is somewhere to put down some roots, somewhere to really invest some time and some effort and some energy, and to work towards the future. I don't want to wait around and then 5 years from now be like, wow, if I would have planted some trees 5 years ago, I could really be getting a return on that investment if I didn't plant any trees, So I want to do it where if we wind up here 5 years from now, we've got a return on that investment. But for the time being, that said, we're just going to throw a mobile home on the land. We're going to get us on our property, and we're going to move forward from there. We're putting it off to the side of where the house site was intended to be. That way, if we choose to build, we still got the house site open, which is important, but then we can also hook up to power, water, and the septic from where we're at. So that's one purpose for our land. Another purpose for our land is to have animals. Some people go just complete vegetarian or vegan. We're still raising our own animals. We're looking at just whatever meat, whatever eggs, whatever stuff we have that we would like to be having in our diet, being able to raise it ourselves, have it from a trustworthy source, know how it was treated, how it lived, how it was processed, what it was exposed to, what it wasn't exposed to, and that type of stuff. I mean, putting carbon monoxide in the meat to make it look red. Meat's not supposed to be red. Not a little while after butchering it. It should be a nice grayish, a nice brownish. That's what naturally happens. They put carbon monoxide on there. Besides all the GMO stuff, all the GMO feed, besides all the antibiotics, all that stuff and whatever goes into your food can then wind up in you. I just want to take that in my own control with both the animals and then also with the plants. So one purpose for our land is to have somewhere for us to be. Another purpose is to have somewhere for animals to be, livestock, domesticated animals. And then the third thing is going to be for plants. Got a variety of things we're going to do with plants, but I'm going to say kind of garden and orchard and vineyard and type stuff for the scope of this. So the issue is, part of my problem is that I do as I do, not as I say. If you guys ever get into this type of lifestyle, if you ever think about starting up a homestead, get yourself somewhere to live, somewhere to be on your homestead first before you get animals. I obviously did not do that. We've got still a dozen guinea fowl. We've got 8 Muscovy ducks. We've got a pile of chickens. We've got some quail. We've got almost a dozen rabbits still. We've got a cow. We've got 27 sheep. What do we got? Maybe 6 or 7 goats. We had 20-some pigs. Started trading those for sheep and goats a while ago. But that's a ton of animals. Not only does that take up a portion of your day that you could be investing elsewhere doing your chores, but there's a cost associated with it, and until you're really set up for them, it requires a lot of work. A lot of it's kind of been fly by the seat of our pants. Get some animals and then build a fence. I mean, I'm still fencing in the perimeter of the property right now because I want to be able to figure out, with whatever we're going to dedicate towards the animals, what we're going to be able to actually produce, actually hold. How many sheep can I actually run on my land? How many, goats and sheep and cow can I have? Can my land support it all? Do I need to downsize? Then also to figure out, well, exactly how much meat do we need over the course of a year? Is our land going to be able to produce that? Or will we be able to produce part of it and then buy the rest? Or will we be able to produce more than we need to eat and then have that as a potential source of income too? I don't know. We're still dialing that in. So at the moment, I'm doing a kind of concentrated aggressive grazing where I'm letting my sheep and my goats eat things really far down. Eventually we're going to be doing a lot of rotation, keep everything nice and high at a good height. The higher they are off the ground, the less exposure they have to their own manure and other things, the less likely they are to get parasites and stuff like that. But right now what I want to do is just start with a clean slate, have them eat it down all the way, then seed it with a bunch of more beneficial things than what is already there. What is already there will grow up too with some more beneficial things. We'll be working on just building up the soil, building up the pasture, making everything really good, and then rotating to a point where it'll actually be able to support more than if we just gave them open access to everything we got going on there now. That said, I've got to fence in the entire perimeter right now. I've also got to get us somewhere to live right now. I've also decided to work on my garden this year. I had a temporary site down here the past 2 years. It did excellent. We learned a lot. Got some great things like kiwanos and noodle beans, Chinese noodle beans, and some different stuff that I normally wouldn't have grown up in Wisconsin, but that I found out that does excellent down here, trying some new varieties of stuff. But I want to have a very large garden, and the way that we're doing it, it's kind of a cross between like a back to Eden type no-till garden, a raised bed garden. I mean, there's a couple of those different elements in there where we're pretty much clearing out kind of the poison ivy, the thorns, the greenbriers, the blackberries, the whatever, and we use the goats and the pigs to do that, and then covering it with mulch. And then wherever I want a garden, I just put up a raised bed. I put up a rock border, remove the mulch from the inside of it, fill it with compost, rabbit manure, a variety of things, and then plant into that. So pretty much I'm hoping to have thick enough mulch where we're not really having to weed, where it's retaining a lot of moisture, where it's building up the soil, and in those raised bed areas too, same thing. Going to be using a lot of compost tea, rabbit manure tea, things just to really get those plants a lot of what they could use to grow as best as they can. But a garden like that, from scratch, out of nowhere, in the middle of the woods, as you're running animals through, that's a ton of work. It just is. So the reason that my life is a lot more work than it needs to be right now is that I've got 3 different things going on. If I would have got my family down there and got a house first, and then set up some pens in some areas, and then put the animals in them, and then began to do a garden, that'd be great. But instead, it's almost 11:30 here. I've been up since 7, I think, today, 7:30. But I've been running hard all day. I do that a lot of days. Sometimes people say, well, how do you sleep? I say, well, every time I fall over out of exhaustion, I sleep. But I want to be able to have, at this stage in my life, the amount of strength, the amount of energy, the amount of focus to get done the things that I need to get done now to make my life easier later. If you don't want a hard life, work hard. And that's what I'm doing. Thankfully, I do have some friends. I do have some help. I do have some children. My monster truck, my 5-year-old boy, he's a great blessing and help to me, and he loves hanging out. He loves doing it. So we'll start him with some more in-depth school stuff in the near future. But right now, he's just kind of learning how to be a man, how to work the land, how to plant, how to propagate plants, how to do a lot of different things. And it's been a blessing. But like I said, that's why my life's a lot of work right now. But I think that I've got so many things in the works that eventually some of those things are going to get crossed off the list, and also a lot will come together really quickly. When we get the land down, once we get living down there, and we get the mobile home down there, we're going to move the remainder of our animals down there, which right now we just have the sheep and the goats on the land, and the quail, and the rabbits, and the cow, and the guinea fowl, and the chickens, and the Muscovy ducks are off-site in some areas. But we're going to bring them all together down there, which also will mean putting up some more fencing, doing some more things. I've got a friend down the street who I'm going to get a sawmill from, a nice portable bandsaw sawmill. That'll start milling some lumber so I can build some, build a rabbitry, build a chicken coop, build some different things for them. But, I don't know. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun. We enjoy it. I'm about in the best shape of my life right now. But I was just kind of reflecting on it earlier, as I mentioned, kind of the 3 main purposes for our land and the fact that I'm working on them all simultaneously at the same time. But like I said, things are progressing, things are moving forward, and we're figuring it out. So just don't do what I do. Do as I say, not as I do, right? Sounds like a Papa. All right, Papa out.
As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media, an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.